Yo, Trojan family, what's going on? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Earlier today was at spring camp number 6 for the USC Trojans. If you have not caught it already, have my full recap from spring camp. We have all of our interview videos right here on the USC LAF YouTube channel. So we talked to Lincoln Riley. We talked to new transfer defensive lineman Alex Van Summeren. Talked to Alex Graham. A bunch of different defensive players. That is all up. Plus our sights and sounds. If you just want to see, take it all in. Right? Take in some of the football sounds, the whistles, the guys walking out to the field. I know, it just feels good to have football back, at least for this month, until we go on a big hiatus. So that is all up from this morning. But as I talked about in my recap, I wanted to jump on here tonight to just give a brief recruiting update in terms of visitors that were there, have been there basically this week, and will be there on Friday. Remember, tomorrow is Pro Day, so I will be back at USC for Pro Day tomorrow, but no practice, and then Friday is spring practice number 7, which I will be in attendance at, so I'm sure there'll be plenty coming out of that. So make sure, if you have not already, hit that like and subscribe for year-round USC coverage here at USC LAFB, which is presented by our friends over at FanDuel. You see the logo up there. Check out FanDuel Sportsbook right now. Jaden Mayava, 12th best odds to win the Heisman, plus 2,700. 12th. You know my thoughts on Jaden Mayava. I would get on that quickly because you know that is going to go up. His odds are going to get better and better as the season starts and progresses. And in my opinion, will finish in that top kind of 3 range and potentially win the Heisman when it's all said and done. So FanDuel Sportsbook, check that out. Tell them USC LAFB sent you. Okay, so this will be kind of brief. There's been a ton of visitors on campus. It's great to see, as was last spring. Last spring was probably actually crazier just because of how big the class they were taking was. It was like just, when you take a 35 kid class, you're taking a lot of visitors in. This year is still a lot, not quite the volume, but definitely more strategic and definitely key visitors every single practice that we have been there. And, there's the 2027, but there's also now 2028 and 2029 kids, which I'll be honest, I haven't deep dived a ton into that. I'm focused on 27 right now. But one pretty elite 28 kid was there today, so I will mention that. First, before talking about the recruits on campus, and I mentioned it briefly in the recap, but a good chunk of the Santa Margarita coaching staff was on campus today, headlined by Heisman Trophy winning USC Trojans quarterback Carson Palmer, the head coach of the Eagles down in Santa Margarita, the CIF reigning champion Eagles, might I add, along with, his now coaching assistant, Lenny Vandermeide, whose son, Isaiah Vandermeide, plays for the team, is committed to USC. He has visited prior in days. So it was great to see Santa Margarita, and I think that's going to be a pretty nice pipeline for USC. I think what's been really fun, it's all been fun, but I think what's been even more fun in this 27 class, because it is different, right? It's just going to be fewer guys. I'm predicting 18 total. That's what I've been saying all along. There are still definitely prospects out of state, right? Like I've talked a bunch about the IMG kids, which, those are those really out of state? Some are from in-state. When you look at Osani Gale, is from Tracy, California. When you look at Eric McFarland, he's from Vegas. But, technically out of state, there's the IMG kids. There's others, one I'm going to talk about from Arizona. But this class, and it started with the 26 class, but this class even more so, is heavy California. It is just like all local prospects. You're seeing the pipelines being created between, back again with Mater Dei. You're seeing a close relationship being built with St. John Bosco. You're certainly seeing new pipelines created with Santa Margarita and Sierra Canyon, which started last class and are really blossoming in this class with how many guys are visiting from those schools and the coaches from all of these elite programs being on campus. It feels like virtually every single spring practice. So you love to see that. Let's start with their top running back target right now for 2027. I mentioned him. I've talked about him before. Jeremiah Adeyanju from the state of Arizona. Remember, this is a kid that skyrocketed the rankings, was virtually a no-star running back. When it first came out that USC was kind of pursuing him, he talked about USC being one of like his top choice at the time. And everyone was kind of like, oh, okay, well, no disrespect, but man, you think you could get a little higher caliber running back if you're USC. Well, now, again, that's why I say don't base everything off these recruiting services. But now, after some re-rankings, after a very successful and productive season, he is a 4-star and the 17th ranked running back in the class via Rivals. So he was on campus again today. 6 foot 210, looks every bit of it in person. This is one that feels very much like will ultimately be a USC commit. So still others out there. We'll see about visits, Florida, Michigan, other schools certainly jockeying for position with Adeyanju, as he is, not, I guess, new to the actual school recruitment, but more new to the public and the recruiting services. But he was there today, Wednesday. Certainly expect him to be back again. Another running back, elite 4-star running back in the 2028 class, Tamir Brown, was there today. He had visited UCLA on Tuesday, and he will head to Oregon now, I believe tomorrow or Friday. So making the West Coast circuit. He is from Pennsylvania, plays out in Philadelphia, or New Jersey, I believe, actually. But from the East Coast, I think he's from Philadelphia, plays in New Jersey. So maybe some of that Luke Wafel connection, East Coast to West Coast, can show some love there. But really, really talented back in 28. When you're talking about it's 5'10", 190 right now. Remember, he's 28, so he's still got 2 more years of high school. He's the 4th ranked running back in the 2028 class. So look out for him. But again, 28, so far away. But, I want to at least mention some of these guys that are in those later class. There were other guys here. Like I said, there's a lot of them. I'm not going to mention every single one. So there were multiple other recruits on campus. But the last real notable one was not there for practice, but came back in the evening to visit specifically with Coach Riley, and that is cornerback Danny Lang. 4th visit now in a week. Yeah, 1 full week, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and now today. This just feels like it's a commitment's coming. There's could be other things going on, maybe, and I'm just throwing it all at you. I haven't really heard specifically from a direct source, but it could be that, hey, Oregon really is still in the lead, and USC is just doing an all-out push, which is trying to get him to campus as much as possible. Obviously, he just lives down the street. Or it could be that now it has shifted dramatically into USC's favor, and they're kind of just crossing the T's, dotting the I's, to try to get this thing done and across the finish line before his original July 2nd commitment date, so then he would cancel any future visits. I'm more in that camp, but we will see what kind of intel we hear tomorrow after this meeting this evening, which should, I would assume, would be wrapped up at this point at the time of this recording. But great to see Danny Lang back on campus. USC wants this one bad. So you got Danny Lang on for a 4th time. You got Honor Fa'alave Johnson announcing on Saturday his commitment. I believe he is set to be on campus at some point this week, which I have not seen him yet. So perhaps Friday, which obviously if he's there Friday, he's announcing his commitment Saturday. That probably tells you all you need to know about where he will ultimately commit, but we will talk about that in the days to come. But their pursuit of what they want in the secondary for the 2027 class is really coming to fold, and there's not going to be a lot of question marks, I think, a month from now. It could be done. We could go into mid-April, and the entire defensive backfield for 27 is set. That's how this is progressing that quickly. So that was today. Really, again, tomorrow's pro day, so I'm sure there'll be guys maybe on campus visiting coaches. I'll report those any that I find. But Friday, the real big one, and more names will come out, so I will get stuff up tomorrow on more names. But tomorrow, quarterback Dane Weber, remember he was originally going to visit at a different date, rescheduled to come this Friday. He is the Chaparral 4-star quarterback, teammates with USC commit Eli Woodard. He has not been offered by USC. So he is visiting USC. He is another player that has risen dramatically in the rankings. Just got done visiting UCLA, Stanford, and Cal, so visited all the Power 4 California schools. USC is the last one. And so ultimately we will see if USC does end up offering Dane Weber as really the only second quarterback they have offered in 27. Remember, they offered Peyton Houston, who had since committed to LSU, so they really have no outstanding offers for the quarterback position as it stands. Will Dane Weber get an offer? If he does get an offer, you got to think he's coming to USC, because Lincoln Riley doesn't hand those out to anyone. It's not like some school up north that seems like they're offering, 15 different quarterbacks and throwing a dart and seeing which one sticks. Lincoln Riley is very specific when it comes to quarterbacks. It's one at a time. He's basically very, very strategic, very picky, and very demanding in what he looks for in the quarterback position, which is why he has been so good at developing the quarterback position. So Dane Weber visiting, not yet offered. He's met with USC many times, met Coach Luke Heward many times. We will see what comes out of it, but this is a fairly instrumental visit, almost more for the USC side, depending how those conversations go if an offer is given. Like I have, in my belief, I don't think USC takes a quarterback in 27. That's just my opinion. Just the landscape of college football, I think it's best, and this is not me talking to Lincoln Riley or anyone, this is just my opinion. I think it's best to skip a year just because you're almost guaranteed if you have an elite one that's going to be a freshman and then you're bringing another freshman the year after, like one of those guys is going to ultimately transfer. They're not going to just sit forever. So it's almost mathematically better to skip a year as long as you can bring in a vet transfer so you have the numbers right for, backup scenarios in situations like that. Because obviously they will lose both Jaden Mayava and Sam Heward this year. So they would have to bring in someone else, obviously, besides Jonas Williams. I just would rather go get a vet transfer guy that wants to come in and compete and, make some money and be a nice backup versus a freshman who might transfer out. But that's another conversation. For now, Dan Weber visiting. We'll see how that progresses. All right. So there's the latest and greatest with recruiting this week. Again, I'm sure I'll hear a lot more tomorrow, so we'll be back on here with any new visitors up and coming. Keep it right here, USC LFB. Head over to LFBnetwork.com. Check out our message board. I'll put up names and stuff there quickly that you can digest a little faster if you don't want to listen to me ramble for now 12 minutes. But for those that do listen to me ramble, you don't know how much it means to me. I appreciate you so much, and I'd appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. If you have not already, become a member of the channel. That would be a huge shout. Plus, you get discounts on our custom-made USC LAFB or all of our LAFB merchandise for that matter. So, everyone, enjoy your evening. Appreciate you, family. As always, fight on.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.